Back to How Mini Splits Work, Episode 2. Today I guess we're gonna talk about wall mounts. Now this isn't going to be a how to install wall mounts video. It's gonna be a video on tricks on how to install them easier, right? So let's go over to Google, and I have already been to mylinkdrive.com, and I pulled up the install manual for this MSZGL 691215. Okay, so I pulled it up. You can read all these warnings. If you haven't read them, I suggest you did. Go ahead and pull it up and read all the. There's a term we like to use. It's called RTFM, and I use it all the time actually. So RTFM there, fellas. So anyway, let's see. A couple of things in this manual here. Some guys ask, "Hey, can we use solid wire or do we have to use stranded wire from the outdoor to the indoor?" Well, it says right here you can use solid or stranded. Okay? Just make sure it's 14 gauge wire. Flares. Another question I get asked all the time is, can I cut the flares off and braze them in? 100% absolutely, you can cut the flares off. You can braze the flares, or you can cut the flares off and braze up the lines on the indoor. You can braze the line sets to the indoor unit. You can use a push connector. You can zoom lock. You can do whatever you want to. You don't have to use a flare. Somebody at one time said if you cut the flare off and braze it up, you will void the warranty. Well, that is not true. So as long as you're brazing with nitrogen, that is all we care about. Okay. So that's that. Let's scroll down here to the wall plate, the install plate. If you're going to be going out the right hand side of the unit like we normally would on an exterior wall, you would draw a level line down from the right hand side of your wall plate straight down, and then this little arrow right here, draw a line straight across where those two lines intersect. That's the center of your hole, right? We're going to use a 3-inch hole. We're going to use a 3-inch hole saw, and we're going to start our hole from the inside. We're going to drill our 3-inch hole on the inside here. Then our pilot hole, when it hits the outside wall, we're going to go outside and we're going to go a half an inch below this pilot hole here. Once you go a half an inch below that pilot hole, this is going to be the center of your outside hole. That way, that'll give your drain line a fall for when you run your lines out through the wall. Okay. So what if you had to come in from the left-hand side of the wall plate? The last thing we want to do is put our flares in the wall, right? So there are going to come times where you're going to have to run your flares or your line set in from the left-hand side of the unit. When guys do this, unfortunately, they'll cut their line sets too long, and when they go to push everything together, the bottom of the unit will actually bulge out because they've got too much line in here and it doesn't have anywhere to go, so it puts stress on the bottom of this unit here. And when it does, what'll happen is when this unit is in heat, this plastic will expand and contract, and it will crack and pop and make all kind of weird noises. And it's always going to do it at 2 o'clock in the morning when the homeowner's trying to sleep. So we want to try to avoid that. So what do we do, right? well, let's go over to my, let's go to my desktop here. Let's get out of the internet. All right, so here's a picture of a box for a wall mount, right? And I have it here for a reason. I'll show you here in just a minute, but let me go ahead and do a picture of the wall plate. Okay, let me go ahead and change that to my desktop. I know it's weird that I'm making these desktop images, but it's just easier for me. Okay, so here is our wall plate. Of course, like I said, if you're going to come in from the right-hand side or go out from the right-hand side of the unit, you just use that little arrow right there, go straight across, and the side of the wall plate there comes straight down. Where they intersect, that's the center of your hole. It's a 3-inch hole, right? But if you're coming in from the left-hand side, Mitsubishi actually gives you all the information in its wall plate that you need to have a clean job, right? So if you look right here, there's knockouts. These knockouts are your actual factory fittings, right? So that's your suction line, that's your liquid line. Right here, these lines right here, that's where your flares actually stops. So when you have these units, or when you have the unit hinged up, now I know some guys like to use the mighty bracket. We'll talk about it here. We'll talk about the mighty bracket here in a minute. But when you have your unit hinged up, then you can make your connections, and then after you get done with your connections, you just snap this thing back in place. Now, what am I talking about? Hinging it up. Okay, so you'd actually go ahead and hang your unit from these little clips right here, from these 3 clips, but don't snap it in place, right? Now let me go back over to one of those box. Let me go back over to the box. Let's see, the spacer. All right, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, this is a box for a wall mount. Well, at the end of the box, you're going to see this thing right here, spacer. And you may have seen it already and didn't even know what it was for. But what you do is you cut these dotted lines out. Once you cut these dotted lines out, you have a rectangle. Well, then you would roll that up. And once you roll it up, that gives you room, or that'll give you the a way to actually, you stick that rolled up spacer in between the wall plate and the actual indoor unit. That'll give you enough room to get your torque wrench and your wrench up there and tighten everything down. And then once you get everything tightened down, then you get it all sealed up and taped up and whatever you have to do, and you just snap it in place, right? So that'll make your job a whole lot faster and easier, right? Now, I mentioned the mighty bracket a while ago, and some guys ask about it, and then once I show them this technique here, they had no idea, right? And the reason I kind of harp on this, there's nothing wrong with the mighty bracket, right? There's nothing wrong with it. But like I said, if you use the mighty bracket and you didn't know about these right here and you're not measuring your line sets, you will make your lines too long here. And once you make them too long and you go snap everything in place, your bottom of your unit will bulge out. And once it bulges out, it's going to crack and it's going to pop and it's going to, like I said, make all kind of noise, and that homeowner is not going to like you very much. So let's look at the mighty bracket, right? And I'll be honest with you, I know what they are, I've seen them, but I didn't know how much they cost. So I've got it pulled up right here. Look at that, $138 for that thing. And I'm sure they have their place. And you know what? I am not knocking it at all. But I'm telling you, I would much rather use the way I just showed you guys than spend $138 and take room up on my truck. Right? Let's see. I'm just gonna pull one up right here. Right? Let's look at it right quick. Okay, come on. Proceeding. Wait. Man, I'm not gonna spend my time on that. Let's see. Will that one do it? All right. All right. So let's see. $138 each. Man, they don't even give multiple brackets in that one package. Holy cow. User guide. Wow. Now, even if I was installing a unit on one of these right here, I would measure, because I'm cheap. I ain't spending $138 on this, the mighty bracket. Huh. Hey, like I said, if you own one and you like it and you want to continue using it after what I showed you, hey, more power to you. But sometimes they do have their place. I'm going to show you a picture here. Let's see. Now, I'm going to show you this picture, and I'm just showing you because I went and did a job site visit, and they were using the mighty bracket. So, let's see. There you go. Here's the mighty bracket in use. Unfortunately, I don't know, man. This coil leaked like 3 times in 2 years, or twice in 3 years, or whatever. I don't remember. It's been several years since I went to this job site, um, but they put their flares in a wall, and of course the homeowner was all upset because the unit leaked. And of course Mitsubishi is a piece of junk. It can't withstand. Um, you know, it's the coil is cheap and it leaked all the time, but um, you know, kind of upsetting actually to see something like this. But it is what it is. Um, like I said, this has been probably 4 years ago. Yeah, about 4 years ago. But yeah, but there you go. That's the mighty bracket in use right there. Anyway, you guys have a great day, and we will see you on the next one.